Hello everyone, it is Sunday, July 3rd, 2022, of course. I haven't done a video in a couple of weeks, so I have a lot of books to show from the last couple of weeks, and then we are going to discuss the current state of comic book collecting. With everything going on in this country as it relates to higher gas prices, food prices getting out of hand, a lot of people have had to cut back on some of the things that they've purchased. And I've spoken to a few shops, spoken to a lot of collectors, and we'll just kind of touch bases on, the thought process and what's going on right now in the industry, in my view. So with that said, let's jump right into the books. There are a couple of books that have been released early by a place that I was able to pick some up, so I did. First one up, Batman 125. Of course, that comes out next week, but here is a nice cover here. Standing on his, it's kind of the homage to the Gargoyle cover. The stance, the famous stance, standing on the edge of the building, showing things like that. Really liked it. A cover that's going to be real hot. Killing Joke homage. This is the Joker number 15, of course. Instead of a camera, he's got the cell phone right there. Really, really cool. There's also a Harley Quinn version of this that's coming out that I know is going to be just as hot when people are trying to buy it. Again, these are books from the last couple of weeks, this week and the weeks before, so kind of bear with me on that. Next up, Black Adam, number 1 of 12-part series. Saw the previews of the movie. I'm not sure about it. I'm sure The Rock is going to do a good job playing Black Adam, but just doesn't really catch me. So I don't think I'm going to go to the theaters and watch it. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to wait for it to come out on streaming services because they come out real fast on streaming services. A lot of covers on that Black Adam. Here's another one here. There's a little bit of a glare on the screen. Sorry about that. There's another one there. Really cool looking cover. And the last of the Black Adams that I purchased right there. Next up, real nice cover purchase on this. Miles Morales, Spiderman. Saw that cover, loved it. Look, it's your government holding a knife to your throat because they're screwing everybody with the high prices. There you go there. Don't get me started on that because I'll be here doing a 3-hour video. Catwoman number 44, really nice Jenny Friesen cover. There's that right there. Jenny Friesen does beautiful covers. She's a really good cover artist. I'm sure she does a lot of other things, but her cover art is really, really nice and sells really, really well. Moon Knight number 12. Of course, we are huge fans of the Moon Knight here on this channel, as you know. Unfortunately, I tried to watch the show, could not get into the show. So I didn't watch the show, but it does not take away my enthusiasm for the comic book character because first and foremost, I am a fan, not a person trying to just see whatever, jump on whatever's hot. And we all know that here if you've watched this channel for any amount of time. Next up, we have Miles Morales and the Moon Girl, Spider-Man and the Moon Girl. Really cool right there. Here's another one here, kind of a fun cover. Again, sorry for the glare on that. Let me see something here. See if that works. Thor, Lightning and Lament. Right there, really cool cover there. Avengers 57. Again, if you hear the fireworks in the background, it is the third, and people are blowing up the neighborhood here if you hear them. Got my dogs all medicated and put away safe because they hate fireworks like most dogs. Spider-Man 2099 Exodus. Cover right there. And this one here. And then here is the last one I bought on that. Kind of cool on that. And that is it for mainstream Marvel DC. We will jump into the independents. Naughty List number 3. I read this story, fantastic origin story on this one. If you're not reading the Naughty List, you need to get on it. We talked about that in the last video I did. Naughty List and Grimm, a couple of really, really good stories from some independent press companies that are really going to go places. You can see both of those being done in either, basically a TV show, especially the Naughty List. It's set up really nice for that. Oh, I have one more DC book. I'm sorry here. This is, of course, a McFarlane homage. This is DC vs. Vampire Killers, #1. Beautiful cover on that. Beautiful cover on that right there. Back to the Independents. Pentagram of Horror, #2 from Black Caravan. There we go there. Of course, on this channel, we love this genre, and we are going to grab it every time we can. One of my favorite characters, and we've talked about this character a lot, brand new storyline, Kanto, Tales of the Unnamed World. Love me some Kanto. This is Red Room, trigger warning #4. This was a 1 in 5 variant. Picked it up because I got it at a good price. Semi-bondage cover right there, not ending well. Again, we've talked about Red Room. It's kind of you really got to have a taste for that. They really show some really wicked stuff. And I like some of the stories, but even some of the stories on those I kind of, roll my eyes at. Kind of reminds me of Crossed, if you've read Crossed. Again, really, really good story, but you really had to, got to have a taste for it. Not everybody does, unfortunately. Tarot, Witch of the Black Rose, #134. I saw this. That character right there kind of reminds me of the Puppet Master. If you saw those movies in the 80s, you'll know what I'm talking about. Really cool looking character right there. And then this was a 1 in 10 variant that I got at a good price, so I picked it up because we do love tarot. Really nice cover work on this. Story is so hit and miss. They do have some good stories, but this is mostly cover purchases, so I had to grab that one only because I got it at a really good price, because I am not a huge variant guy unless it's something that I just absolutely have to have, and if I get a good price on it. #4, the Fourth Man, #2, excuse me. Fourth Man #2. Kind of looks like Christian Slater right there to me. There's that there. Really good story on this one, based off of a true story. Nottingham, #8. Is that right there? Fuck This Place. This is #2. Right here. Kind of reminds me of an Evil Dead type storyline. It's so-so. I'm not going to stop reading it, but it's got to come up a little bit more. The last issue was pretty good. The first issue was kind of a set the table for what's coming up. But again, it reminds me of a lot of Evil Dead stuff. The Illusion Witch, book 1. One cover here. I read this one. This was pretty good too. Definitely piqued my interest for the second issue. And then cover B, this is from Behemoth Comics. I bought these. These are cover purchases only. This is Elvira in Horrorland. Of course, The Shining right there with the twins. Had to get that. And then, of course, this is another cover for this. The famous bathroom scene. Here's Johnny. Here it's Stanley. Right there. Really, really cool on that. And then last but not least, Potions Inc. #1 from Mad Cave. There is that there. So those were the new books that I picked up in the last couple of weeks. Some really good titles. And again, get yourself a couple of those 125s on the Batman that'll be released this week, because there's a ton of covers again, and we're going to talk about that at the end of this video. We'll just kind of see where it goes. I was able to pick up a few vintage books, so we'll show those, and everybody likes those. There'll probably be a glare on these because of the Mylar. First up, Jaguar #12, 1963. Yeah, you can see that glare right there. But again, really, really cool book. These are all, again, mid-grade, 4 to 6, nothing really, really high. Plastic Man #1. This would have been a nicer book if the cover wasn't attached at the lower staple, but still, really, really nice book, and is getting hotter and hotter. Plastic Man #1. This, of course, from 1966. Would have been a high-grade book, or, an upper-grade book in the 7 to 7.5 range, but due to the pop staple, 4.0. Nothing big on this one, but just really nice anyways. This is the Jungle Action number 12, 1974. Again, the glare on that. And this has Marvel stamp number 9, Captain Marvel. People always ask me, let me see if I can do this and cut the glare out on that. And we'll try that. People always ask me if I do that. I do put it on the back of the book right there. I want people to know if there's a Marvel stamp is in there, what Marvel stamp it is. So we do that. Next up, Jaguar from 1962, issue number 7. I don't think it made much of a difference, so we'll just put the lights on. There we go. Next up, Jaguar number 5 from 1962. Cool cover on that right there. Again, nothing real fancy, nothing real expensive, but just harder to find stuff. Plastic Man number 2, 7.0 from 1967. Good color on that. Again, the other one was better condition than the number 2, but unfortunately, staple detached or centerfold detached at the centerfold lower staple. This is a cool cover. I've always liked this cover. This is another one that has some issues with it, but again, it was at a good price. This is Superman number 201 from 1967. Classic Superman right there. Clark Kent and Superman together. Gotta love that. Here's another one. Mid-grade Superman number 216 from 1969. Again, you can't really see it that good because of the glare, but what are you going to do? Superboy number 123 from 1965. Kind of a cocoon cover right there again. Again, nothing fancy on that, nothing expensive. And then finally, lower grade of 4.5. This is Superboy 135. Kind of a cool cover right there. Again, the glare is just really bad, but what are you going to do? You put it in Mylar to make it look good, and that's what it does. Makes it look good. That's what I picked up as it relates to some older books. And then I have some other books here that I picked up a few weeks ago that I finally got done rebagging and boarding. This is, we'll just without, hesitation, we'll see what we got here. I picked up Incredible Hulk 177, 1974. Green Lantern 51. Nothing special on that. Green Lantern It All Ends, number 50. This is a glow-in-the-dark cover. Really cool little thing right there. And if you have 50, you definitely have to have 49. One of the key covers right there of this. I love it with all the rings. And then, of course, first appearance right there of the character. Really cool. Daredevil, Man Without Fear, number 110. Kind of a upper grade, 7.0 on that, 7.5 actually. Here is number 1, another 110, 7.0. I will always buy these if I can get them in a really, really good, at a good price. And I got these at a great price. 7.0, 112. These are not real expensive books. You can get these grades, you can get these books for, not that much money. So you grab them when you can. Daredevil 113, 7.0, Marvel Stamp 85, Lilith, Dracula's daughter. But really, really cool cover on that. One of my favorite covers, not in great condition, but a really cool cover on this, Daredevil 114. Marvel Stamp number 7 inside of this with the werewolf. Of course, got a little man thing right there. Daredevil 115, 5.5, Marvel Stamp 35, Kill Raven, excuse me. Daredevil 116, 6.5, Mole Man Marvel Stamp in there. 117, 6.5, Marvel stamp of the leader. 127, Ghost Rider Marvel stamp inside. Daredevil 134, 8.0, really nice. And books like this do really well at shows. These are going to be pretty much, show books, things like that, if people are looking for them. You get them at a good price, you flip them. You can do that now. And we have Daredevil 137. Again, I'm doing my sales once in a while. I got a couple a year at the house, and then I'm doing the local shows. So it's just a matter of building up some inventory. And again, I got these at a really good price, so I wasn't going to say no on these, 25, 30 cent Daredevils from the 70s. This is an 8.0 Daredevil number 147. Another 147, 8.5. You can never have too many of those. If you get them at a good price, just stack them up. That's all you can do. This is Daredevil 148, 5.0. Daredevil 149, 1977, 6.0. And then finally, Daredevil 151, 7.0. Of course, I'm tough with my grades, so my grades are probably lower than what they actually are. And then I've actually had people on this channel who've actually sat there and said, if you undergrade doesn't mean you know what you're grading. Well, it does kind of know what I'm grading. It just means that, I'm true to my grades. And then some of the things we have talked about, that's pretty much all we have with that right there. Some of the things we've talked about, we've noticed that, of course, in the country, there is a lot of stuff going on as it relates to higher gas prices, higher food prices, the recession. They're talking about, falling into a recession. I believe that we are in a recession. And with that, I decided to talk to some people and a couple of shops and ask them if they've seen a change at all in the last month or so. And you'd be surprised how many shops did say that. Yes, there has been a change on that. There are a lot of customers that are, consistent customers that have now been scaling back on the things that they buy. They've, canceled some titles. A couple have closed their boxes. And if you have a big shop, of course, we have Cosmic here, in town. We are, big fans of Cosmic Comics. They're going to be able to try to, carry through with the rough seas that are coming. They'll make it through because, again, they have a huge customer base and they will do that. But the people that it really hurts are the smaller shops, the more independent shops. There's a few of those here in town. And if we do go through another recession where people are starting to pull back on what they spend, it's going to hurt them. And this is really bad for the industry when that happens because, as you know, the cost of everything has been going up. The comic book prices go up and the paper quality is bad. I don't understand how some of the independent companies can put out really good books with good paper quality at, $2.99, $3.99, and then the big boys, Marvel and DC, put out crappy paper quality with a ton of advertisements when the independents don't have a lot of advertisements, sometimes no advertisements, and they're using, superior paper quality. How are we looking at that? Of course, we know the grading companies, what's going on with that. Of course, CBCS has just mentioned that they're going to raise their prices on, expedited service. And this is the wrong time to do that. And people are having a hard time paying their bills. And when you do things like that, a person who sends in 10 or 15 books to get graded isn't going to be able to send books in to get graded because they can't afford the expedited service fees that gone up. And they did go up. And, shame on CBCS for doing that. We've talked about the two comic book companies, the major companies, CGC and CBCS. CBCS had an opportunity to step in and say, look, we're going to, ride the storm and try to help the collectors get through this tough time. But instead, they're just like everybody else, hands in your pocket. We're going to have to raise the prices to do things, and we're raising our prices on this because people want to get stuff graded. So we're just going to jack the price up. And if they don't want to pay it to get the book back in 3 weeks, then don't pay it and you can get the book back in 8 months. Well, a company has to step up and say, hey, and that goes with, DC and Marvel as it relates to some of these things. We talked about some of these books. Black Adam, there was 1 million covers. Stop putting out so many covers. Understand that people don't have a lot of money for that. And, you know, it makes it tough for shops when a new book comes out and 10 or 12 copies come out of that book, and now they have to decide what books they're going to carry. You know, come out with 1 or 2 covers. You want to do a 3rd cover once in a while on something special, then do a 3rd cover. But, you know, 1 cover, 2 covers, even 2 covers is too much right now in this day and age. Come out with a really good cover. Come out with, you know, superior paper. Make the book worth collecting. You know, the cost of supplies, I mean, you buy 100 bags and boards that you used to be able to buy for $9.99, basically $10 is now $15, $16. You start talking about Mylar. When you were buying Mylar for $14 for a pack of 50 is now $20 for a pack of 50. All that stuff matters to the point where sometimes collectors are just saying no. And I've talked to some people that collect and they're like, you know what? I've cut back to the bare minimum. I used to have, you know, 15, 20 titles in my box. Now I have my 2 titles in the box because quite frankly, you know, I have to try to save my money. Everything else has gone up. Instead of paying, you know, $50 to fill my tank, it's now $100 to fill my tank. And that $50 has to come from somewhere. And the $50 comes from, you know, expenditures that are not necessary. And unfortunately, comic books fall under that unnecessary expenditure list. I'm even looking at, you know, stepping back a little bit myself with everything going on and really limiting what I've been buying. Just because, you know what, I'm going to save my money for other things. There's a couple of shows coming up. I'm going to start looking for, you know, other parts of inventory because I am selling. The next show I'm going to sell out. And I know I'm just kind of bouncing around with this stuff, and I apologize. I'm just trying to think of it as it comes off my head. The next show I am doing is the library show. And it is August 27th, Saturday, August 27th, at the Rainbow Library, which is kind of Cheyenne and Buffalo area right there. Really, really cool show last time, which was run by Simpsons Comics. They did a really, really good job on that. And so Gorilla Todd here locally, they did a great job advertising and promoting that show. And it was a big success because of it. I hope the company that's doing it now, which is a company called Whole Wheat, does the same thing. I will be selling there. I've already paid for my table space. And again, you're going to see things just like, this, the stuff that we just showed, a lot of modern books that we have, because, I bag and board everything like we talked about. Stuff like that's going to be available at good prices. I got the best quality and the best prices in town, period, hands down. I don't have the huge keys, but I got books that people want. That's why when you go to these shows, there's always a line at my booth. That's not because, they just want to buy things. It's because my quality exceeds most of the dealers there, and that includes my vintage. Again, if you want to have a couple of big keys, I'm not going to have big keys, but what I'm going to have are quality books at a quality price that people have, and I have a good following. And, like I said before, thank you for everybody who came out to the last show because it was a big success. I anticipate this to be a big success. I probably have 3 or 4 more shows this year that I'm going to be selling at. And then next year, 2023, I'll be doing my 2 garage sales. Looking forward to that with a lot of inventory. So I'm going to be buying a little bit as we go. And you can kind of tell the market is like a roller coaster. When it's up, everybody's jumping on it, and then it drops, but it always comes back up. It's been that way since the beginning. But what you're seeing right now, talking to a lot of people and just the phone calls that I get for people trying to sell things, a lot of people selling books right now. And people sell their stuff when they need the money because rents are going up, food's going up. So again, what it is it's going to be the ones who have the money to purchase all the stuff, all the inventory in town that's available, and the ones that are hanging on to what they have to try to ride the the rough seas. But ultimately, what's going to happen is the people who have the money, who have a good job, whose finances don't change based off of what's going on, and can handle the higher gas prices, the higher food prices. Thankfully, I am in that category of we can handle everything that's going on right now because we both make money, and we're fortunate for that. Knock on wood. But you're going to start seeing a lot of collections coming out. A lot of people trying to sell things. It's already happening now. There's been a couple of really good collections here in town that have been sold the last week or so that have some big bangers. So, you're going to start seeing more of that. Now it becomes a feeding frenzy for the handful of dealers and buyers who have, a little bit of extra money to be able to buy that. So enough of that. Sorry for rambling on about it. But again, sorry for not doing a video a couple weeks. I had death in the family as well. So it just kind of seems like there's a lot of stuff stacking up on me the last couple of weeks. But I will be doing another video this week after New Comic Book Day, probably on Wednesday, because I'll be going out of town at the end of the week to go to a memorial service. So there won't be a video, on the weekend. So I'm going to try to get that out on Wednesday. Again, I hope you like the books that come on. If you're a subscriber to the channel, thank you so much. I really mean it's a lot to me. It gets me through these tough times that I've had in the last, year or so. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I appreciate all the positive support and the things that I get. Again, today was just kind of a ramble video. I apologize for that. I do hope you like the books that I showed, and we'll just kind of go from there. So if you're a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. If you know somebody who might like the channel, let them know about it, have them subscribe. So that's pretty much all we have. So I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great day. Be safe on the 4th of July. If you're popping off fireworks, make sure you have water to be able to dunk the old fireworks in, because it's a dry season in a lot of parts of the country, and you do not want to be responsible for a major fire. I will see you in a couple of days. Have a safe night.